I've been using this camera since the day it came out. Almost 50,000 photos, countless hours of video, and plenty of real-world shooting in all kinds of conditions. Before that, I spent years with the original R5. I've also shot a lot with the R6, R6 Mark II, R8, R5C, and a lot with the Fuji X Pro 3, even Lumix S5 for a while. All great cameras in their own way, but with their own strengths and limitations. But when it comes to the kind of photography and video I do, one camera clearly stands out, and that's the R5 Mark II. It ticks almost every box for me, and despite what the internet might suggest, I've also found it incredibly fun to use, more so than any other camera I've ever owned, for a few simple reasons. Lately, I've also been more inspired than ever, really motivated and trying to push my photography forward. Of course, it's not all about the gear, but having a camera you generally enjoy using, one that's reliable and consistently helps you nail your vision, absolutely plays a role. And for me, that's what defines a good camera. Not the logo or brand name on it or how it looks or any other factor. This is exactly what the R5 Mark II has done for me. It just works consistently, reliably every time. I know exactly what I'm going to get, and I trust it's not going to let me down. So this video isn't about convincing you to switch camera systems or to pick a certain camera of any type. It's more about sharing what makes a camera great in my opinion. I will cover some of the common criticisms I've seen of the R5 Mark II if you're interested, and whether they actually affect my workflow. Also focus on some of the features of this camera that have really made the upgrade worthwhile for me. Let's jump in. So this is how I mostly use this camera. I'm a travel photographer with a strong focus on street photography, but I also take on a mixture of client work for both photo and video. And of course, there's this YouTube channel. So video is always important for me for that as well. My style is very run and gun, so I need a camera that's reliable, fast, and accurate. One I can trust to deliver time and time again, whether I'm quickly switching between photo and video or working in unpredictable light and weather. You might be surprised to hear me highlight the R5 Mark II's low light performance, especially given its high resolution. But in my experience, it handles low light exceptionally well. I shoot in low light all the time and it rarely misses a beat. 13 versus 14 stops of dynamic range, I honestly couldn't really care. Maybe useful to know, sure, but this doesn't tell the complete story. How you shoot and how you edit your footage also makes a huge difference. So I only really care about the end result I get with the camera. And this camera has delivered in every situation I've thrown at it. Purely looking at photography, I definitely can't fault it. It's fair to say you'd be hard pressed to find a more reliable camera. This new unmatched autofocus is outstanding. It offers excellent image quality and the file sizes are large enough, but not too large at its resolution. And above all, it's comfortable and easy to use. Sure, it's not a head turner in terms of design, but over time, this holds less weight for me. Comfort, usability, and reliability matter far more. I know some people are more inspired by how a camera looks, but for me, this stopped being a key deciding factor a while ago. Sure, I enjoy a nice retro looking camera, even this new ultra modern looking camera, but what actually keeps me shooting isn't how nice the camera looks. It's learning, improving, and making work I really care about that really motivates me to get out there. If you are relying purely on your gear to do this for you, then honestly, I think you're gonna find yourself jumping from one camera to another. And well, motivation just dwindling fast. That excitement of having a new shiny toy that looks cool around your neck can wear off pretty quickly in my experience, much like a new car. I somewhat fell into this trap myself when I decided to pick up the Fuji X Pro 3, a really gorgeous looking camera. And I definitely really enjoyed it at first, but over time I found myself barely picking it up. I'd come back to the R5 because it just worked better overall. The X Pro 3 slowed me down, yes, which is nice for a change, but it almost felt like stepping back in time next to the speed and flexibility I'd become so used to. It just didn't offer nearly the same reliability or that versatility as my R5. The longer I do this, the less I seem to care about whether the camera matches my outfit or looks cool. those things just don't hold as much value. But I have come to really love my R5, whether other people think it looks cool or not. At the end of the day, it's about how a camera performs, how it feels in hand, and whether it helps me create meaningful work, which I think the R5 has really assisted me in being able to do this. So beyond just photography, this is where the upgrade to the Mark II really made sense for me. The original R5 was already epic for stills, but I definitely prefer to pick up the Mark II for video. Previously trying out the R5C, I did really love having that full cinema menu, but now compared to the R5 Mark II, the only thing I really miss is shutter angle. With the addition of false color, waveforms, and most importantly, C-Log 2, these have just made a huge difference, generally improving my workflow. I really just love how C-Log 2 grades. It's such a nice profile to work with, so this alone is a big addition. I've also seen quite a bit of chatter about the 60 FPS quality since we don't have that oversampled option or the fine option. I even went back to question my own footage after hearing about some of those takes, but after 6 months of use, I can't fault this footage I've been able to capture. Do I need to run a side-by-side comparison test? No. If the difference only shows up when you're really hunting for it, it's not something worth worrying about, especially when I consider where the majority of people are going to be watching my footage these days. Overall, the slow motion quality on this camera is incredible in my opinion. Another reason I find it hard stepping down to some of the other models. Shooting 100 or 120 FPS just looks magical, and again, C-Log 2 always grades beautifully. Much like the original R5 and its overheating issue, this feels a bit overblown. I used that camera for years, often pushing the higher frame rates or at least that 4K fine, and it never really stopped me from getting the video I needed. And I think this was probably true for most cases, bar some specific cases where a full cinema camera probably makes more sense anyway. Sure, on the Mark II, I don't use the 8K, but I can confidently say I've never had it overheat, not even close. And I only ever use 4K fine or higher frame rates. It's been rock solid, never getting close, even in the heat of Bangkok recently. Where this camera really shines for me personally is actually the workflow, just switching between photo and video. It's really intuitive, and setting up custom modes is incredibly easy, easily switching those frame rates and corresponding shutter speeds in each of my custom modes. Sure, perhaps in a perfect world, I would opt for a slightly smaller body overall, but this mostly comes down to your lens choice anyway. Sure, you can find smaller full frame bodies out there, but they typically compromise elsewhere as a complete package. So my approach here is incredibly simple. I'd rather carry one slightly larger camera that does absolutely everything I need it to than multiple smaller ones that do those more specific jobs. I've tried that in the past, and this simpler setup just works so much better for me. It frees up space in my bag, and more importantly, in my mind. I never have to think twice about which camera to bring, regardless of the day, which honestly is hugely underrated in my opinion. You can come at me in the comments for this next point, but Canon's color science always just looks great to me as well. It suits how I edit, and I love the results. Sure, you can get most cameras to look pretty similar with enough work, but even straight out of camera, Canon's colors always look rich and natural to me and provide that great base. With that C-Log 2, you've even got a better base to work from. Totally subjective, I know, but still worth mentioning for me. Battery life has also performed great. I like having these newer batteries. I know some people are upset around the limitations on using those older batteries, which is totally fair, but my solution is simple. Buy an extra battery, which I probably would have done anyway, since you'll get much more time out of them anyway. I only have 2 of the newer ones, and this hasn't restricted my type of usage so far, even on those long days of shooting. I still have the older ones as backups, but really haven't needed them. So the price of 1 extra battery I can add to the Mark II, which isn't a cheap camera. So of course, it's not for everyone, but as one of the most advanced cameras out there, if you need those features, I think it's totally worth it. From many of the comparisons I've seen, it arguably outperforms Sony's much pricier A1 II in a number of ways, at only a fraction of the price. So it's hard to complain if you really need a camera of this quality. Alright, yes, I've been overly positive on the R5 Mark II, but I think with good reason. It's a phenomenal camera, and I absolutely can't fault it for my kind of usage. People love to bash Canon. I get it. It's become trendy almost. Heck, it might even get you more views, but this camera deserves serious praise, and that's all it's going to get from me. It fits my needs almost perfectly, and I think it's a real joy to use. Maybe it's not the camera for you, maybe it is, but remember, everybody is different and has different needs. Please do subscribe and check out some of my other videos too. Keep on creating, keep on growing, my friends. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.